Hello wrestling fans, in this video we're going to be ranking every single model of Cody Rhodes in WWE games. Each model of Cody will be ranked into one of 5 tiers, those being American Dream, which is the best of the best, Good, Indifferent, Bad, and American Nightmare, which is the worst. For the purpose of this video, our ranking will mainly be focused on the head and face of each model, as those are the most important parts, but we'll also take into consideration the body and attire for attention to detail. We're going to go through each model in order of Cody's appearance in a WWE game, so let's start with SmackDown Vs Raw 2009. In SVR 2009 and in Cody's career at this stage, he was pretty basic, nothing too elaborate or difficult to create when it comes to the attire, just simple black boots, trunks, an elbow pad, and those fallen down knee pads. With everything being so basic, it really comes down to the face and body to decide if this model of Cody is any good, and in my opinion, it is. The face certainly looks like a young Cody Rhodes and the head shape is about right. And as for the hair, although basic, it very much looks like how Cody styled it at the time. The hair also has a texture to it, with fades at the side and at the back, with a thicker layer on top, which I think looks really good. The body type is also very good, with the sculpture looking like Cody, and the skin tone having the right tan. All in all, I think THQ have done a great job with the first appearance of Cody in a WWE game. So we kick off this Cody Rhodes ranking with SVR 2009 being an American Dream. SVR 2010. SVR 2010's model of Cody is pretty much the same as what we saw in SVR 2009. This reaffirms the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. SVR 2010 has all the positive aspects of 2009, along with a little more detail added to Cody's attire. So for SVR 2010, it's going to be very easy to follow in the footsteps of SVR 2009 and rank this one as another American Dream. SVR 2011. So can THQ be undeniable and make it 3 for 3 in the top tier with the final Cody of the SVR series? At first I was going to say yes, because at a distance everything looks great. Cody's attire has been updated and is looking good, and Cody's now minus the knee pads and wearing the pull-up socks. This little change, and albeit a small one, is accurate to Cody's attire at the time. Cody's body type also looks good, in both shape and skin tone, but on closer inspection, the updates to Cody's hair and face are not as good, and certainly aren't better than the previous 2 installments. Cody now has the thicker haircut, which is correct, and the fade is no more, but it seems to have lost all its texture, and Cody's face just seems to be off. When the model shows any expression, it changes the shape of his face and just makes him look less Cody. If I had to pinpoint the overall problem of Cody's face, I'd say it's something to do with that mouth. So although the attire and body are still good, the face I'm just not too keen on, so I'm going to rank this one as indifferent. Up next, we have WWE AllStars. Unfortunately, I don't think this works, as I don't think at the time Cody had enough characteristics to enhance to make a decent OTT looking model for this style of game. If at some point we get an AllStars 2 with Cody as the American Nightmare, he now has plenty of characteristics to over enhance, but he didn't at this point in time. I also just can't get away from the fact that he reminds me of this.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
So with that in mind, I can still see a bit of Cody within the model, but I'm going to rank this one as bad. WWE 12. Here we are going back to a more accurate attempt of Cody for WWE 12. Cody is seen wearing a mask, which was meant to repair his dashing looks. So did it work? After us giving AllStars the lowest ranking yet, this is much better. The face and body is accurate, although it's a little hard to see all of Cody's features whilst wearing the mask. The only criticism I have of this model is the hair, as it lacks any sort of texture, which is something that's resolved in the next installment. So this model of Cody is going to just be ranked as good. On to WWE 13, and Cody has now dropped the mask and it's clear to see his dashing looks have returned. For 13, not only does Cody's face look great, but as mentioned his hair is now textured, which I personally think looks better than WWE 12. Cody's body type also looks just like Cody, and the skin tone is on point as well. This model also showcases a much more detailed attire, as in past games Cody was only sporting trunks, boots and pads. In all honesty, it's really hard to find anything to fault with this model of Cody, so I'm going to rank this one as another American Dream.
Yeah, my operation was a success.
WWE 2K14. This is pretty much the same model as WWE 13. The major difference in Cody's look is obviously the moustache, but this small addition could easily ruin the model of Cody, as facial hair has been hit or miss in the WWE game series. Fortunately in 2K14, it's a hit. Yux and Visual Concepts got this one right, with it being patchy looking just like Cody's moustache in real life. Besides the moustache and a new entrance coat, which looks great I might add, everything I said about WWE 13's model holds true in 2K14, so this has to be ranked as an American Dream. WWE 2K15. This is a very good model of Cody, I'm gonna say that right away, so much so that the base of this model could be used for the series right now. I would also consider this the most realistic version of Cody in all of WWE games. As for the attire, it's also rock solid and showcases a great use of materials. For example, look at the texture of the coat Cody's wearing for his entrance, and the trunks and boots have more of a shine. Also note the worn tape aspect around Cody's hand. It's becoming a bit of an expectation now, I know, but it's safe to say we find ourselves with one more American Dream.
Dashing Cody Rhodes!
WWE 2K16. For 2K16, here we have Cody's first appearance in a WWE game as Stardust. This model is a lot different from what we've seen previously, with Visual Concepts having to tackle an entire new gimmick for Cody Rhodes. Unlike Cody, Stardust has a much more elaborate attire, and for the most part I think VC got it right. For the face of Stardust, it looks like a different scan from 2K15, with the main standout being the face paint, which does look really lifelike. It has good textures, colour tones, and with the silver not just being one block colour. I also like the shorter haircut, because it does look like a haircut and not just a piece plonked on. It has a ton of texture to it. So overall, there's really nothing here to fault, much like 2K14 and 2K15, albeit that this is a very different model. So I'm going to rank this one much the same as an American Dream.
Stardust, perfect. Edge, Christian, maybe bring the energy up just a little bit. We'll get back on this, guys. Thank you.
WWE 2K17. The final appearance to date of Cody Rhodes in a WWE game, with 2K17 having Stardust make a return with a few adjustments. Those adjustments would include a more typical Cody hairstyle, but I have to be honest, I'm not overly a fan of the way this hair looks. It's Cody's style, but I feel it could be stylized slightly better, maybe adding some textures. It just tends to look more like a block colour, which isn't great. Everything else about this model of Stardust looks decent. The entrance attire is different to 2K15, but has just as many parts to get right, and it does. As for the face paint, this also looks good. I don't personally think this model is as good as 2K16, but it is good nonetheless. So our final model of Cody Rhodes to be ranked with WWE 2K17's Stardust is going to be good. So there you have it. That was every model of Cody Rhodes in WWE games ranked. Out of 10 models we had 6 as an American Dream. That's very good. 2 ranked as good. 1 at the crossroads being indifferent, and 1 was bad. And no American Nightmares. If you enjoyed this ranking video, make sure you drop a like on it, and why not make use of the comments by letting us know how you'd rank these models of Cody Rhodes. But for now, Thanks for watching.